Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to your reading for the week of March 16th. You have this Juno card that says Partnership. You have this Pluto card. It says Rebirth on it. So you are in a time of rebirth. Again, I think we're going to see a very different Gemini at the end of the next 7 years or so. So it's, especially with Uranus going into your sign, it's, I think I said in your last reading, it kind of is your time, Gemini. The time of Gemini or something is what we should call it. And, it's going to lead to you really standing out, right? Hopefully. We have the 3 cups here. And so you could be standing out for your unique ideas, your unique insights. Here you go. You have the Hermit. The Hermit needs to stand out. He's learned something. He's been through something very difficult, and he's standing at the top of this mountain, and he's shining his inner light here, but he needs to come down from the mountain. And here you go. You have the starfish here as well. So it's time to shine your light into the world. And again, I think you're going to be doing this, Gemini, with your ideas or with things that you create or things that you take action on. And that's what I would do. You have the 4 swords, the Page of Swords, and the 10 of Wands. Feels like I would describe a reading like this as a behind-the-scenes reading. So it could be a very behind-the-scenes week for you this week, which, like I said, is that really a bad thing? Probably not. We're at the end of the retrograde. The retrograde ends on the 20th, so if you're just working on projects behind the scenes or working on, new opportunities, I think that's perfectly fine. Now, the 4 Swords is my Mercury retrograde card. It's a card of resting, relaxing, recovering, and healing. He's hoping and praying for blessings. And there's a person right here who's blessing another person in this stained glass window. So a lot of you could be receiving blessings at this time, or you could be asking for blessings. And I do think it is a good time to ask for the blessings you want. Tell the universe once what you want, and then act as if you already have it. I feel that would be very helpful. You have the Page of Swords. Page of Swords is the card of curiosity. Again, a very common retrograde card, I would say, because, retrogrades like us to, research things or look into things that we're interested in or that we want to create in general. And so I think it's a great time to research this last week of the retrograde and to really figure out where you want your life to go or what you want to create in life, and to really kind of get to the bottom of things as well. Again, I think for Gemini, it's a little bit even more powerful because of Pluto and Aquarius. Part of me feels that part of Pluto in Aquarius wants us to look at the evidence in our life that we're getting for pretty much everything that we're working on or creating. And so the Page of Swords is really good at building a case, right? And so anything that you want to create or anything that you want in your life, could be a person, a place, a thing, whatever, I would really look at the evidence that you are receiving from the situation. And again, if you build a case that says, yes, this is a good thing for you, then keep going and keep working towards whatever that thing is. You have the 10 of Wands. Just like last year, I think this year, 2026, is a year of simplification. We're kind of in a time of simplification. Even, again, Uranus and Gemini, I think, is amazing simplification energy. Saturn and Aries, same thing. Saturn and Aries is one thing at a time. And so the 10 of Wands, he's obviously carrying 10 things. 10 of Wands, he is burdened. Personally, I kind of like the 10 of Wands because he is very close to reaching his home, which is his goal. And I feel that a lot of you could be very close to achieving your goal or getting to your home at this time. And, you could be close to a goal is what I'm trying to say. But at the same time, I do feel that there are some things that you have to release here, Gemini. Anything that is an obligation that doesn't produce a result. The other thing I'm getting that's popping into my head is don't put things off. It's what kind of pops into my head there is if a light pops on in your car, it's take care of it right now, but it might not be your car. Again, it could be anything. If you get, something in the mail that you need to take care of or something you need to sign up for whatever reason, I feel like the 10 of Wands is saying do it right now so that you don't forget later. Again, I think this is a very retrograde thing. Our light can pop on, we ignore it, and then, before you know it, it's 3 months later and we've been driving around without oil in our car or something like that, right? So don't let that happen. With the 4 Swords, you have the 4 Swords. So basically the universe saying I meant what I said. Definitely a good time for resting, relaxing, recovering, and healing. With the Page of Swords, you have the Fool. Yeah, it's like maybe you've already collected all the evidence. We are basically at the end of the retrograde. Today is the 11th, so this will be published on the 12th, and we're, 8 days away or whatever from the last day of the retrograde. So it kind of is like the last full week if you're watching this on the 12th or the 13th. And maybe you've already collected that evidence that you need, and now it's time to take the leap of faith towards something. Again, I think I've said this to you before as well. The thing with Uranus and Gemini and the Fool is that the Fool, he has to take the risk of looking like a fool. Anything, whatever he's taking a leap towards, people are saying, don't do that, or you're a fool for wanting to do that thing in your life. Again, people are not going to even understand your ideas in the first place, Gemini, because they're probably coming from a different world or a different place, meaning your brain. And, it's really a time for you to prove it. And I'm not saying again, I think there's two ways to look at the prove it energy. It's like sometimes I think it can be bad or toxic, like you're trying to prove yourself. That's not what we're talking about, right? We're just talking about you just living your life, creating what you want to create, not worrying about what other people think. Really, the only person you have to prove anything to is yourself, of course, right? And, eventually people will come to your side and they'll see, wow, Gemini is a genius, right? So don't worry about the people that are saying, oh, that won't work, or, that's crazy, or you're a fool, or whatever. With the 10 of Wands, you have the 3 of Wands. Yeah, a lot of expansion this week. A lot of people have had these expansive energies. Again, Jupiter, thank God, has finally started moving forward. So Jupiter has been retrograde since November, and now it just went direct on the 10th or 11th today, basically. And so I think for a lot of you, you could be feeling that expansive energy. Again, Jupiter retrograde in Cancer is probably the worst place for Jupiter to go retrograde because it's kind of as if it was in Capricorn. And Jupiter in Capricorn is at its fall. So I think Jupiter retrograde in Cancer is like a real slowdown. We pretty much consider Jupiter to be positive no matter what. But, I think in Cancer, if there is a bad place for it to go retrograde, it's Cancer. So, again, I think it's been a real slowdown and now things can speed up. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this cheetah. It says speediness, shrewdness, and loquacious. You have the speediness, so things speeding up. You have this mongoose. It says self-assertive, genuineness, and candidness. Again, I think genuine, the word genuine or authenticity is a very good word for you to focus on. It's like when you're genuine, you don't even care what people say about you because you're being authentic to yourself, right? There's no need to defend anything when you get to that point, right? So that's definitely something I would think about with these two cards here. I also think the more you work on anything, could be at your health, could be a business, could be a relationship, whatever, the more authentic it is, the quicker it's probably going to go. And, again, I do think that Uranus and Gemini, which will be next month in April, is going to be like I said, it's going to be like you sticking your tongue in a outlet. It's going to be like electricity flowing through you, and, you're going to feel very energetic and probably have a lot of ideas. So there is a lot of speed to be had during this time for you, Gemini. Of course, I wouldn't rush anything, but, I do think things are going to move faster. You have the Knight of Wands, the 3 of Cups, and the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Wands is a card of going on an adventure. Again, I think you're going to get the Knight of Wands with me a lot as well because the opposite of you is Sagittarius. And I think for you, it's going to be critically important that you not only work with Uranus and Gemini, but you should also be working with Sagittarian energy because that Gemini energy, I think, is just going to be ideas, right? The Sagittarius side is exploring those ideas, meaning taking the ideas that you download and putting them into practice. And again, I know I'm repeating myself, but at the same time, I don't care. And I think you should do it. You have the 3 of Cups. 3 of Cups is a celebration, happiness. A lot of 3 of Cups energy lately as well, I've noticed. It could be a good time to just socialize, get out into the world. I do think that, again, Pluto and Aquarius is a collective. And so we can get, not only should we be doing things to benefit the collective, but the collective can also benefit us more, right? So we need to like get out there, do things that could improve your life, like join classes and things like that. For about the last year, when Pluto moved into Aquarius, I joined a class that I take every single Monday, now Tuesday as well. And I'm a little bit tired today because I was out late last night, right? Because I did this class, but taking this class has like completely opened up my world. So, I really have been begging people to, go take a class, go, join a gym and meet people. You're going to have to put yourself out there and not be shy, of course. But, again, I think there are so many benefits. The other thing that I tell people is like, we are in a time of additional benefits. It's like you have to look at the energy as compounding right now for like the next 20 years. It's like one thing is going to lead to another. And so I think it's really hard right now to like just jump to the finish line. It's like there are probably other times in history astrologically where we maybe can almost jump to a finish line. We can come up with an idea and we can accomplish it very quickly. But because we had Neptune and Pisces for so long, the way that I look at it is it's like one thing inspires the next thing, and we have to follow those inspirations. So it's a little bit more of a process. But again, the process compounds on itself. So it gets better and better and better over time. And so, I think socializing for you could be one of those things. You have the Knight of Pentacles. Progress, I feel, again, progress in this reading. It's like you're just, making progress. I think maybe progress has been a little bit slow. The Knight of Pentacles can be slow. I don't always think that he's terrible. I'm not the biggest fan of the Knight of Pentacles because sometimes I feel like he's not moving. He's the only knight in the tarot that isn't making a move. But at the same time, I think this is saying that you are now making quicker progress, which is good. With the Knight of Wands, you have the Knight of Wands. So bunch of repeating cards here already, which is basically the universe saying I meant what I said. So you could be like charging towards success, or you could be embracing mystery as well. I think that's another good thing for you, Gemini. Anything that you discover that's a mystery, that's exciting, that's the key. I would say, like, I would avoid those mysteries that you're just not interested in, obviously, because those are like brain traps. But I think the things that you are interested in, that where you just don't know what to do, exploring those ideas is going to be very beneficial for you. Like I said, he has these 3 pyramids, and they represent mystery, and he's just exploring a mystery. With the 3 of Cups, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune is a change in your fortunes, so there definitely could be a change in your fortunes at this time, or your luck could be changing. I do think that it would be better for you to create your own luck. I say the same thing to Sagittarius with with Uranus and Gemini. It's not really like luck like we think of it. It's not like winning the lottery or something. It's more like you are creating the environment or creating the situations that will make you lucky, right? And so it's like, the only example I can come up with right now, Gemini, is like if you want love. It's like if you're sitting at home doing nothing, your chances of luck are very low. If you went to a party and you asked every single person out at that party, we're talking about both ends of the spectrum. Home, asking everybody out at a party. Someone would say yes, I guarantee it, right? If you asked every single person out. Now, it might not be what you want, right? But, if you did it, you would be creating your own luck, right? And so there you go. But, where's the middle, right? It's like where do you need to like take enough action to kind of change your luck? And I would be doing that with the Wheel of Fortune. With the Knight of Pentacles, you have the 6 of Pentacles, progress. So 6 of Pentacles is my card of planting seeds. As I always say, the Knight of Pentacles has these empty fields behind him, and he could easily plant seeds in those fields and they would grow. So I think that for a lot of you, this is about it's just saying you're planting seeds probably for your future here, Gemini, which is good. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this fiery beginnings. It says you're on the brink of a real breakthrough. Follow your heart and live your passion. You have this dolphin spirit. It says stop taking life so seriously and splash some joy in your everyday life. Yes, I think it is a good time, like I said, with the 3 of Cups, to have fun, socialize, make it a point to do that, especially you, because again, you're entering into a very busy time. And I've been telling people all year, I think it's good year for us kind of personally on a personal level. I'm not talking about globally, right? I think it's crazy, but, personally, I think it's good. But we have to not burn out. I think there is the danger of burnout this year. And so there's a couple things you can do. Number one, make sure you're working on things that are actually fulfilling, that fulfill you first. Number two, I would also make sure you're taking breaks, right? It's an electric year once we get to April. And so you're going to need to have a way to recharge your batteries. And if you don't have something, I would figure it out, right? Like, could be going for walks, taking a nap, meditating, whatever it is. Focusing on your health is a good option as well. But I would make sure you're doing at least one thing every single day to recharge. You have the Hermit, the Ten of Swords, and the Nine of Cups. Again, definitely time for you to expose yourself here, Gemini, in a good way. He has this light in his lantern right here, and he needs to come down from the mountain, and he needs to shine his inner light. And I feel like that's what you have to do. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I've said to you before, I'll probably say it again, that I do feel you are going to probably experience criticism. We even have the Five of Wands right next to it, but you don't have to react or do anything to the criticism. It's like anytime you do something great, people are going to criticize you, right? And there's just nothing you can do about it. I was on a podcast the other day. Someone left a comment on it saying, I'm a horrible person, I'm a bully, I make up card meanings and something else, right? I don't remember what they said. But it's like, I didn't even react to it because it's like, none of it's true, right? In the first place. And also, obviously, it's like, you can go look up the card meanings. I literally repeat the card meanings. I don't even know what that means. But, at the same time, like I said, it's the time that we're in. We are going to attract those little shitbirds, basically, coming out of the woodwork that are going to attack us, especially if we're shining bright, if we're standing out, which you definitely are going to be standing out. And so, like I said, your job is to just completely ignore it, not even have a reaction. You have the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords says something in your life is dead, done, over with. A lot of Ten of Swords energy as well at this time. Kind of makes sense. We're getting to the end of all these long cycles. We have these major planets have changed signs in a relatively short period of time. Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter's about to change signs, Uranus, right? Especially those big planets that take forever. To have Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus all changing signs at the same time, basically within a year, pretty much. Pretty crazy. So, I think a lot of us are going to be eliminating things. Again, those big planets are generational, so they affect a generation, right? It's like we're entering into a new generation. And so I think a lot of us are going to be cutting out the crap. Gemini, also, by the way, make sure to leave a comment down below. Really helps me out. You have the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups can be fulfillment or a wish fulfillment coming in for you. Like I said earlier, I think this reading is encouraging you to be in the energy of what you want to be. He is about to have a wish because he is perfectly matching the energy of whatever the wish is. And that would be very helpful. With the Hermit, you have the Knight of Swords. No rushing at this time. Again, it's like the Hermit wants you to shine bright, but I also feel it's like you don't have to necessarily do everything at once, right? You can start sharing your ideas a little bit, or you can start working towards something in public a little bit and see how it goes. So I would create balance there. With the Ten of Swords, a lot of repeating cards. Again, I like readings with repeating cards, especially more than two, basically, because it kind of says that you are working on what you need to be working on. It says it's basically like the universe is saying, I have nothing more to share. So it makes the readings more straight and to the point, and it kind of says the energy is probably straight and to the point. With the Knight of Cups, you have the Eight of Pentacles. Love it. Eight of Pentacles is straightforward, diligent work. Again, he is working on one thing. He's just working on these pentacles, and he's completing those pentacles so that he can get a result. And the result is right in front of him. He can see the result he's getting, and he only has one more pentacle to complete, and then he is done. So I think a lot of you are very close to achieving a goal or completing something, which is great. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Dolphin Spirit. It says this and that are true. You have this Starfish. It says open to infinite possibilities. again, that is so Gemini, the whole this and that are true thing. It's like, I think Gemini does see that, two things can be true at once. So that's kind of like your superpower. I also do feel that it is a time of infinite possibility for you. So, if something that you're working on doesn't work, just try something else. You have the Five of Wands, the Eight of Swords, and the King of Pentacles, and the Ace of Swords wanted to come out together. The Five of Wands can be conflict or competition, but it's coming up in the good stuff. Like I've said to you a lot this year, you have an amazing opportunity to stand out above the competition. Again, Uranus and Gemini will give you those unique insights, those unique ideas that will make you stand out. When you stand out, like I said, the little shitbirds are going to come and attack you. Just ignore it. Don't even focus on it, right? Because if you don't, you'll be laughing all the way to the bank. If you do focus on it, then it's going to steal your energy. And so I would say don't let that energy steal your energy, and focus on what you're doing. You have the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is self-imposed restriction or holding yourself back. She is stuck inside these eight swords, but she needs to set herself free. Luckily, it's coming up in the good stuff. So a lot of you could be getting unstuck. I think for you, it's about building a case, like we were saying with the Page of Swords. Anything you're stuck on, researching it, researching other ways to handle the stuck situation will be the thing that kind of sets you free from this Eight of Swords energy. And like I said, that's what I would do. You have the Ace of Swords and the King of Pentacles. Ace of Swords is a victory or truth coming in for you. King of Pentacles is like stability and wealth building. So a lot of you with the Eight of Pentacles as well. Eight of Pentacles is material success on the horizon. So a lot of you are like building wealth. And I think this is all forms of wealth, not just money, of course, but, really trying to create that legacy energy, which is what Uranus and Taurus has been teaching us for a long time, that we have to have the holistic picture. We can't just be like wealthy and unhealthy, right? Those two things have to work together. And so it's kind of like more full picture energy that I'm getting off of these two cards. Again, Ace of Swords is also like authenticity. So I think authenticity is the name of the game for everybody this year, but like a little bit extra for you, Gemini, that, being your true authentic self would be a good idea. I would even, I think of things like even things you don't want to do, like making sure, 10 of Wands, like making sure you're not agreeing to things. I thought, oh yeah. For a second, I didn't see that 10 of Wands. I'm like, I'm pretty sure they have the 10 of Wands. But 10 of Wands, right? Don't agree to things you don't want to do, because then that's not authentic either, right? And so I think learning no would be a good option for you this year, all that. With the Five of Wands, you have the Strength card. Yeah, you've developed a lot of skills. The Hermit has also developed a lot of strength. He's been through a dark night of the soul. He's been through something very difficult, and now he's found his inner light. So the Strength card, she is developing inner strength. The lion here represents her inner critic or her inner voice, and she is the one that's in control of it. So I feel like a lot of you are kind of like taking control of your inner voice there. With the Eight of Swords, you have the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is like fulfillment or wish fulfillment. So I think a lot of you have this repeating as well, which is great. Definitely could be a wish coming true, or you just entering into a time of more peace and fulfillment. I would kind of like get there before it actually happens as well, if that makes sense. It's like even if you're not in fulfillment right now, you can embrace the energy of fulfillment, and then you'll kind of create it. And so that's what I would do with that. With the Ace of Swords and the King of Pentacles, you have the Eight of Swords again. So all these repeating cards. The Ace of Swords could be the thing that sets you free from the Eight of Swords. Living your truth. And there are with the Ten of Wands, there are clearly things that you need to be set free. The Ten of Wands. I think I said the Ten of Swords. But with the Ten of Wands, there are things you need to be set free from. So I would make sure you're not agreeing to things you don't want to do. You have this horseshoe. It says good luck on it. Yes, definitely a lot of luck coming in here with this reading. You have this purse that says pay attention to your finances. Yeah, like I said, I think it's a good year for you to like improve your wealth and finances. But I also, I think that this year there's like the danger of spending. And so, make sure you're not like spending it as quickly as you're making it, right? You have this wreath that says sorrow over a loss. I think the Ten of Swords could say that there's a past loss that you need to move past because it'll be a blessing. And so if you did lose something in the past, you could be thinking about it during the retrograde, but there's probably like a blessing in disguise coming in for you. You have this dark woman. It says dealings or relationships with a woman with dark complexion or hair. And you have this vulture. It says depression, anxiety, worry that someone is against you, which we talked about this entire time, right? That is definitely the one thing I would ignore. I wouldn't even feed it with any attention at all, right? People hating or people trolling or, whatever it is. I would just totally ignore it. You have this horse that says short journey on it. Yeah, I'm a big fan of travel or, any travel or adventures you can go on, really good. As I've been saying to you for like all year, it's like the more inputs you have into your brain, the better. And so you don't even have to travel. You can go on an adventure in the comfort of your own home by learning something new. Those things are going to be very, very beneficial to you, Gemini. But this looks pretty good. I like it. So thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your week.